Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the latest installment of the Southwestern District Leadership Training Sessions, online training sessions. Today, we are going to be covering the topic of promoting your chapter with public relations. And our presenter today is Rocky Willett. Rocky is a 30-year member of the Barbershop Harmony Society and sings with the vocal majority. His quartet Sentimental Journey is now in their 25th year. Rocky's background in public relations comes from his experience as an Air Force public affairs officer, where he was the Chief of Public Affairs Division at Laughlin Air Force Base in Del Rio, Texas. He was on the Southwestern District Board of Directors from 2013 to 15 and rejoins the team for 2018 and 19 as the Director of Marketing and PR. With no further ado, Rocky, the floor is yours.
Good morning, everyone. Let me share my screen here and find all the good stuff that I want to show you all. Okay, so do I double click on it there, Scott, or what?
Just click on the share button at the bottom down there and it should share everything on your screen.
Ah, there we are, right? Can you see that? Okay, we'll get to the show here.
While Rocky's setting that up, if any of you have a question, take a look down at the bottom of your screen and you'll see a chat button down there. While we have you muted, if you have a question that you'd like us to address at the end, go on ahead and click the chat button and just send me the chat, your question by chat, and we'll catalog it and ask it at the end. But again, at some point we may unmute the phones. We'll kind of see how this flows here.
So once again, good morning and welcome to Let's Make a News Release. First off, in this session, we're going to spend part of the time discussing what is a news release and why am I doing this? Assembling the parts of the news release. And now that everything's assembled, am I done? And after that, we'll get into the fun stuff where we work together to write the news release, then revise the news release, then we'll critique it, and then we'll ready the news release for, well, release. Okay, so let's just jump right into it. First off, what is a news release? I want you to notice that we're not calling it a press release, okay, because there's much more to media now than just newspapers. You know, there's all kinds of things. Words appear on all kinds of screens, don't they, nowadays? I mean, you've got your phone, you've got your computer, you've got your regular TV, and so all these things show up, and that's where your news releases are going to be read. So purpose of a news release, like, what is this and why am I doing it? Well, there's a variety of purposes, but we usually announce chapter shows. Then we publicize chapter events like your sing-outs. We all still call them sing-outs, right? And maybe your officer installation. Scott was just telling me a story about how one of their members he came in from Japan, and he was here working on behalf of a company, and then suddenly he had to go back, and how sad everybody was about it, but how great a time they had while he was still here. That would have been something to write a little feature story about. Also, the news releases publicize your chapter achievements, you know, like your contest standings or some other kind of recognition that maybe you had out in the public. So the big thing is, and this is in big letters, is that it tells your story. All right, so let's talk about the anatomy of a news release. Some of you may have heard that it's kind of an inverted pyramid. And as you can see, that's what this little graphic shows, is the concept. You've got the 5 W's. I'll go over that in a second. Then you have the body, and then you have some boilerplate. Okay? But really, the first thing that people see when you have your news release is the headline. That's those big letters on the top. Okay, that's usually the first thing that people see, and if they like it, then maybe they'll go ahead and go down and see the dateline, who wrote it and when, and that sort of thing, and the byline. And then following that, you have the lead, which is about 25 to 30 words. And this is one of those cases where it can actually be kind of a run-on sentence. but you have the lead, and then hopefully people read through that, and then they get to the body, and that's where the meat of your news release is. Let me adjust this a little bit. That's where the meat of your news release is and gives all the good information. And then you want to have this thing they call boilerplate, which is information about, well, let's just say information about your chapter, where you meet, what time, and that kind of stuff. Okay, so let's get into these things in kind of detail. But I'm going to go back up here. Ding, 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 ding. Okay, so if the first thing is the headline, and then, like I said, it's the first thing that you see, and readers decide to read your article or skip it based on the headline. All right, and the thing that your headline has got to do is you got to hook them. Got to hook them with that headline, and it's a simple one-sentence explanation of the news release's purposes or purpose. And below that, and I don't have it written here, but kind of goes with it, is a subhead. Now, the subhead's purpose is an additional sentence that provides a bit more info. If the headline is what hooks them, well, the subhead is what pulls them in. But it's not always needed if your headline is good. But one thing you don't want to do with your subhead is to steal from the lead the very next thing that comes from the news release. Okay. Now here's the dateline. People want to know where this is coming from and who wrote it. It doesn't have to be a person. It can be from your chapter or from a company or something like that. It's always nice to have a byline and have your name out there, so they can say, yeah, people can come and congratulate you for what you wrote, or they can place the blame and say you were wrong here, or here's some more information, that kind of stuff. So it's kind of a two-edged sword. Then the second most important part is the lead, okay? Like I said, if the headline hooks them and the subhead pulls them, well, then your lead is what holds your reader, okay? It's kind of an executive summary. So you want to limit it to 25 to 30 words. And what we have here is the 5 W's and an H, okay? And the 5 W's are who, what, where, when, why, and how. Now, how many of y'all have ever heard that before? I can see some of you. Yeah, you just raise your hand or nod your head or something, okay? Who, what, where, when, why, and sometimes how, okay? And that lead, it might be the only thing that people read of your story. Now, how many of you, when you're reading through the newspaper or something like that, you see a headline, you read the first paragraph, and if it doesn't interest you anymore, you just move on? That's kind of how I read the newspaper, okay, or any other kind of article that's put out like that in the form of a news release, okay. So once again, think that this might be the only thing that people read. So be sure that it's concise and accurate. Next after that is the body. Now the body, of course, that's the meat of the release. Is my screen flickering? Okay, stopped it. Like I said, it's the meat of the release. Shouldn't be more than 3 to 5 paragraphs, okay? And it gives the details of what your news release is all about. And each paragraph builds upon the previous one. You know, you want it to lead into the next one and kind of give it more information. That's kind of what that inverted pyramid is that I showed you earlier. All right, and then you get down to the boilerplate. Now the boilerplate is optional, but it's something that's preferred by the reporter that's picking up on your story. It's a short paragraph that provides a little bit of background information. And you can have just a standardized paragraph, you know, write up about your chapter that can be used in many different kinds of news releases and information. And what that does is help reporters understand basic background about the news release's source. And it does help to reinforce your chapter name and give you all a little bit of recognition, okay? So now, any questions about that? Any particular comments? Okay, so now that we've talked about the parts of a news release, let's see if we can work together to actually write a news release, okay? Now I'm going to switch here. First off to a blank screen, and this is where I'm going to type the stuff right through here. And let me find, aha, there's a picture of an inverted pyramid, by the way, that I stole from another publication. Okay, so here's what we're going to use as the basis of our news release. Not that one, sorry. This is the one, okay? People typically send me flyers and say, hey, can you make an email blast about that, okay? So what do you say we go ahead and get together and let's write us a news release. Can y'all all see this? Nod if you can see it.
All I see, Rocky, is just a background that says Southwestern District on the Southwestern District logo.
Oh, okay.
All that we see.
Let's see now. How can I fix that? Because
are you still sharing your? Do you still have your PowerPoint open?
yes. Should I just close that and then
try closing that and see if that's.
Oh wait, maybe if I minimize it. Some examples, not yet.
Some examples. There we go.
All right. So here's just the plain. I'll tell you what. I'll just use this from now on.
Okay, that we can see.
And then. Okay. Now, can you see? You should be able to see that.
All we see is your PowerPoint.
Well, okay.
Go ahead and mute or minimize PowerPoint, and let's see if it shows your screen.
How's that? My screen sharing is paused. Okay, bear with us, guys. Let me go ahead and I'll just close PowerPoint.
Go ahead and stop sharing your screen and, or if you, yeah, there you go. So now I see a cordsman, and that's Zoom.
See the flyer?
No, all we see right now is Zoom. It's your browser. It's your browser.
Oh. Oh, okay. Screen sharing has stopped as the sharing window has closed. Okay. Let's see. Share. And I'll click this. And I'll click share.
So now we see a cordsman flyer.
Okay, that's what we want to see.
Okay, very good.
Okay, so this is going to be a little bit more clunky than I thought, but that's okay. So make a note of this here. And this is where people can chime in. So
I'm going to go ahead, guys, I'm going to go ahead and unmute everyone. Just try to be cognizant that if you have some background noise, you can manually mute yourself by clicking the mute button in the lower left-hand corner if you think that there's some noise in your house that might be coming across just because we are recording here. But everyone is unmuted, so because I know we like to have this be a little bit more of an interactive session. So.
All right. So remember the parts of the news release. You know, you've got the headline and the dateline, the lead, the body, and the boilerplate. Okay. And although the headline is the very first thing that people see, is that the very first thing you should write? What do you think?
Not necessarily.
You guys agree?
I would agree, Pete.
Okay, you're right. Two of you, I'll take the word of two of you, yes, because you want to kind of wait till you got your story written to make the headline, which is kind of a quick summary of what people are about to see, okay? So let's forget the headline for right now, and let's think about the dateline, all right? So what would the dateline be for this particular flyer? Dateline says usually the city and state and who's writing the article?
I would say it's the Cordsman logo.
Okay. So would it be Cordsman, or what do you think? How would you state that?
As far as what I see, do you mean, or?
Yeah, I mean, if you were writing this down, you were writing the Dateline, how would you write that? Want to give you a hint?
Yeah, why not?
Okay. You want to think about the city and state.
All right.
So it'll be San Antonio, Texas. Okay. And then the dash, and then the date of would it be the date of the release or the date of the show?
Let me ask Pete again. Let me ask a basic question. What I'm seeing here is what I would call a show flyer. Are we writing a press release from what I'm seeing, or are you calling this a release?
Nope. We are writing a release. Let me enlarge it a little bit, if it will. It may not. We're writing a release from this information that they've given us.
Okay. Yeah, if you hit the plus sign at the top, that'll enlarge it to the left of what you did click. Yeah.
And then I can scroll, I think. Yeah, over here. Okay, so what's the what?
So you're saying it would be just Dateline San Antonio, is that right, Rocky?
Yes, Dateline in San Antonio, and then what would be the date?
The date would be the date of the news release, would it not? Not the date.
Correct. Date of the news release. So let's just, I mean, we can just say, oh, look at there, it's Friday, June 8th, 2018. That's serendipitous, y'all. I didn't realize that that's when this was going to be. That's a year ago, okay? So if we're releasing the news release today, we're too late, aren't we? So what date would you, how far in advance do you want to release this thing?
It probably depends, but about a month ahead, I'm guessing.
Yeah, let's say that. So we'll make the Dateline May 8th, 2018. Okay. So now we have the Dateline, and I'm going to try, if y'all bear with me for a second. Where's that PowerPoint? As I said, I was going to write this down, and it'll probably switch back to the PowerPoint. Okay, well, that's coming up. So our Dateline is San Antonio, Texas, May 28th or May 8th, 2018. And then the byline would be whoever happened to have sent this, okay? So in honor of Scott, let's just say, by Scott Baylor. How's that? Okay, now what can you all see on your screens right now?
Right now we're still seeing the flyer.
Okay. Because what I want to get to here is a blank page. And I guess it's probably not going to work out the way I thought it would, Scott, because I really wanted to show a blank screen and be writing stuff on it in front of people.
Do you think you've got it looks like you've got your Acrobat maximized. Can you move that to hit the maximize button up there so that it's not full screen, and maybe do side by side?
Okay, let's give that a try. Now, what do you see?
Well, now we just see the Acrobat smaller.
And you don't see the PowerPoint, huh?
No, I don't.
Okay. Well, since I see it, I'm going to go ahead and write it down over here anyway, and then we'll get back to it. All right. Let's see. Insert text. Hang on. It's good to know your tools before y'all get into this kind of thing, by the way. There we go, text box. We'll just make one big old text box here. All right, so it's usually the Dateline is in all caps. San Antonio, Texas. May 8th, 2018. An indent by Scott Baylor, President, San Antonio Cordsman. All right. I'm going to go ahead and maximize this again so we can read the whole thing. Okay, so now what's the who and what the 5 W's? Who, what, where, when, and why. So what's the who?
Would you consider the who to be the cordsman, or would you consider it to be the cordsman and the guests?
Right now, I would consider it to be the cordsman. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
You agree? All right. And what would be? What is the what?
The what is the show?
Okay. And then the where?
That's the Colonial Hills UMC.
And the when?
Friday, June 8th, 7 p.m.
Okay. And is a why applicable here?
I don't necessarily think so. What do you guys think?
To raise money. No, I suppose you could put that in there, but is that gonna attract people to your show?
No, but would you put something in there akin to, for lack of a better term, to spread the joy of a cappella or barbershop music?
That could be possible. Okay. So let me go ahead and go back over to my PowerPoint, and I'm going to, y'all tell me what to write now. Who, what, where, when, and why.
Well, the who would be the San Antonio Cordsmen.
Okay.
Would you describe who the Cordsmen are, like the San Antonio Cordsmen Barbershop Chorus or a cappella chorus, or would you just have the name? Because is it widely assumed that people are going to know who the Cordsmen are?
Yeah, so that is something else to consider, right, guys? What do y'all think? If you know this is going out to just the general public, how much information should you give?
Personally, I would think the more information that we could provide that would make the reader understand what they're reading, the better, without it being, too cumbersome.
Y'all agree?
Yes.
All right. So the San Antonio Cordsmen are doing what?
Well, we're having the show, and I think the name of the show was something like Under the Barber Pole or something like that up above. Yeah, there's a new light under the barber pole tonight. I'm assuming that's the show name.
Okay. So the word I typically use in this case is the San Antonio Cordsmen present their annual show There's a new, I can't read the whole thing. Can you read that thing?
There's a new light under the barber pole tonight. While he's typing that in, I see you've got your hand raised. Did you have a question? Okay, maybe not.
Okay. I'll correct my spelling mistakes later. All right, so we've got the who, we've got the what. What's the next step?
Next would be where.
Okay, and that is at, if you can read that to me.
Can you scroll down a little bit? There we go. Colonial Hills United Methodist Church. The address is 5247 Vance Jackson.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think we need that much detail in the lead, right?
Okay.
Because you want it to be short. Okay. And guys, although I appreciate Scott's input, I would like to hear from the rest of you. Okay. So how are we doing so far? We have, what are the elements here? Don't be afraid. You'll be all right. Whatever answer you give, you'll be right. Okay, Brian, what do you think? What elements do we have in this paragraph so far?
Not seeing it, just following what I'm hearing. We're at where. We're
Oh,
giving
you can't see the flyer. Okay.
I can see the flyer. I can't see what you're writing, but that's all right.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay, because I have. So what have we talked about? We've got the who.
We've got who, what, and where.
All right. Who, what, and where. So it reads like this. The San Antonio Cordsmen present their annual show, There's a New Light Under the Barber Pole Tonight, at Colonial Hills United Methodist Church. Can we stop there?
No, because they need to know when and other things.
Okay. So when is going to be June 8th, 2018. All right. How many words is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. It's about 20 words. Okay. Okay. So I think we can stop there. The San Antonio Cordsmen present their annual show, There's a New Light Under the Barber Pole Tonight, at Colonial Hills United Methodist Church, June 8th, 2018.
Scott, I think I'm back in.
Yes, I hear you.
Thanks.
Okay. Now, is that enough to grab somebody's attention? Or what else is unique about the flyer? What do they say? It's kind of big right there in the middle.
Yeah, featuring the Newfangled Four, internationally ranked quartet, the Newfangled Four.
And would y'all agree? We can just use those words?
Well, here's something Reckers and I discuss. I don't know if Bob's on today, but, is this too much information for an audience that you want to attract that doesn't know what a top 10 quartet is?
So we won't call them a top 10 quartet yet. If we just say with guest quartet, how's that?
Yep.
The new, and that's two separate words.
Ranked,
one word. Fangled Four. Okay. Let me correct my spelling errors. Barber pole. It substituted bean pole. All right, so we have San Antonio, Texas, May 8th, 2018, by Scott Baylor, President, San Antonio Cordsmen. Add that to the dictionary. Otherwise, it'll keep wanting to correct it. The San Antonio Cordsmen present their annual show, There's a New Light Under the Barber Pole Tonight, at Colonial Hills United Methodist Church, June 8th, 2018, with guest quartet, the Newfangled Four. Okay. What else would you want to say about this now?
So we're on to a new sentence now?
Yes, now we're into the body. Remember, the body is 3. It doesn't have to be 3, but it's relatively. This is where you get the meat. You don't want it to go on and on like a book, okay? Because this is more of an announcement than it is like a feature story. So, what questions are you left with after you read this lead?
Who are the Cordsmen?
Okay.
So I'd start off with something like, the San Antonio Cordsmen, comma, blah, 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 premier barbershop chorus in the San Antonio area, comma, present their annual show, or are pleased to present their annual show, period. For starters.
Okay, so the San Antonio Cordsmen let's tell a little bit more about them.
Yep.
What else would you want to say? San Antonio Cordsmen.
Maybe something about, they've, what have they been around since the early 60s? So a San Antonio based chorus for nearly 50 years, something to that effect?
Sure.
Let's see if I can find something on their website real quick.
Yeah, there you go. You go and you find when they don't send you more information than you need, you can always go back to the web to find out what you need.
So here, the headline on their website says, "The Chordsmen, a chapter of the BHS, was chartered in 1955. We are celebrating our 63rd season of bringing music, laughter, and entertainment in four-part barbershop harmony to South Texas."
Yeah, and to save myself from typing all that, I would normally cut and paste and then just reformat it, right? It was chartered in 1965 and is celebrating their, how many years?
Yeah, it's 1955, and they're celebrating 63 years.
63rd year.
Might the Chordsmen want the world to know that they were international champions?
Maybe not here, because our focus is to try to get people into the show. But you know what that could be? What was that last part of the anatomy of the news release?
The boiler,
starts with a B.
the boilerplate.
Boilerplate. So yeah, you'd have that already prepared and ready to tag on at the end of the news release.
Okay.
Okay.
I actually think
That's right.
a lot of what Scott found would be, it sounds like boilerplate.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Somebody's already written it, so just borrow it. Yeah.
So I would look for something a little more catchy and current to describe the Chordsmen. I don't personally.
Okay, what do you
have
think?
that. But if it was the Tidelanders or Space City or something, I'd say a young and dynamic new barbershop chorus, blah, 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 comma, is pleased to present their annual show.
So you'd have done that in the lead, huh?
Yep.
Okay.
Well, second sentence of the lead, I guess.
All right. So, and this is what I do. I always reread. All right. So our lead says, the San Antonio Chordsmen present their annual show. There's a new light under the barber pole tonight at Colonial Hills United Methodist Church, June 8th, 2018, with guest quartet, the Newfangled Four. So you might go back and add a thing or two there without really stretching it out any farther. Is that what you're suggesting there, Pete?
No, let me step back and listen to what you're trying to teach us, so I don't.
Okay. No, actually, that's not bad. But remember, we're going to write it. Then we're going to critique it. And so let me. And that's another thing. The hardest part of writing is applying the seat of the pants to the seat of the chair, and sitting down and just getting the words out there, and then knowing the formula. The headline, the dateline, the byline, the lead, and all that stuff. Then you figure out how to trim it down. And let's keep writing here. So right now we've got the lead. Now we're into the body. And our first sentence in the body is the San Antonio Chordsmen, comma, I started to restate that, a San Antonio-based chorus. That's a little redundant, though, isn't it?
You just say a barbershop chorus?
I'm going to say the San Antonio Chordsmen, comma, chartered in 1965, comma, is celebrating their 63rd year. With this show, and to help commemorate, oops, what did I do? Help commemorate the occasion. Now let's say something about the Newfangled Four.
Mm-hmm.
So what I have so far is the San Antonio Chordsmen, chartered in 1960, it's 55, isn't it, Scott?
55, correct.
Okay. 55 is celebrating their 63rd year. Is it now? Here's a little grammar thing here. You have the San Antonio Cordsman is celebrating their 63rd year, or is celebrating its 63rd year. What do you think?
It's please.
Because we're referring to it as an entity and not all the guys. Y'all agree with that?
Okay.
Okay, so the San Antonio Cordsman, chartered in 1955, is celebrating its 63rd year with this show. And to help commemorate the occasion, I'm going to back up a little bit. And the newfangled four, no, wait, I like it better this way. And to help commemorate the occasion, internationally ranked quartet, the Newfangled Four, joins the chorus on stage, or will join the chorus on stage. Okay, so there's one paragraph for the body.
Would you highlight anything about them, like saying with their, at the end of Newfangled Four, with their unique blend of humor and harmony, or something to that effect, that teases them a little more? Because that's rather.
Yes. We're thinking along the same lines here. So,
Can we just devote a whole paragraph to them?
sure. And why not this paragraph?
Yeah.
No, you know what? It's already just looking at it. Yeah, I'm going to start a new paragraph and say something like, with their, what did you say, Scott? Their
unique blend of harmony and humor.
Harmony and humor. Okay, so what? With their unique blend of harmony and humor, the Newfangled Four
have been entertaining audiences all around the world, all around the country.
have entertained audiences all around, and let's specify which country. The U.S.
Okay.
Okay. Now this would be a cool place if you could get a quote from one of the Newfangled Four guys and saying, yeah, we're real excited to be joining the Cordsmen in San Antonio. We love tacos, and that's why we're coming to San Antonio, or something like that. Now, I'm not going to put that in there, but if you have that kind of information to sort of help, flesh it out, go ahead and put that in there. So basically what the news release looks like here is we've got 3 short paragraphs of information. Okay. So let's, to keep from dragging this out for too long, because we're already at 10:40, what information have we not shared yet?
We've not shared anything about ticket prices or how to buy tickets.
Okay. Tickets are available at.
And then you've got, according to the flyer, sacordsman.org, or the phone number.
How about ticket prices range?
Yeah, ticket prices are $15 general admission, with discounted tickets for senior students and active or veteran military. Did we lose you, Rocky? Can the rest of you guys hear me?
Think of who your audience is. You think people care if we have a special price for military and veterans?
I would think so.
Are you pulling on the fact that it's close to the air bases?
Yep. So yeah, you'd consider your audience. San Antonio, and what's one of the big audiences in San Antonio? Military and veterans. So we ticket prices are $15 general admission, $10 for seniors, and we could just leave it at military. Let's use the same convention they've used there, active/veteran. And veteran, do we need to also say retirees, you think?
That said seniors, students, or military.
Okay. Available at sacordsman.org or by calling
210 557 3000.
557-3000. Okay. All right. So I know y'all can't see this, but I'm going to read it to you, and I'm going to take my time reading it so you can kind of take note, or take note of what's said. I don't expect you to take notes, but then see what else we could add to this. All right.
Okay.
So we have San Antonio, Texas, May 8th, 2018, by Scott Baylor, President, San Antonio Cordsmen. The San Antonio Cordsmen present their annual show, There's a New Light Under the Barber Pole Tonight, at Colonial Hills United Methodist Church, June 8, 2018, with guest quartet, The Newfangled Four. That's the lead. Next paragraph. The San Antonio Cordsmen, chartered in 1955, is celebrating its 63rd year with this show, and to help commemorate the occasion, internationally ranked quartet, The Newfangled Four, will join the chorus on stage. Next paragraph. With their unique blend of harmony and humor, the Newfangled Four have entertained audiences all around the U.S. Next paragraph. Ticket prices are $15 general admission, $10 for seniors and military, and I went ahead and left in parentheses active/veteran. Available at sacordsman.org or by calling 210-557-3000. So, is there everything you need to know about this show and what's happening?
About saying something about the Afterglow?
Okay. And Afterglow, that would be the next paragraph, right?
Yeah. And how do we explain an Afterglow to an ignorant public, a barbershop ignorant public?
Yeah, maybe cast party, or join us for the cast party or after
show party.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that.
Okay. And after show party is slated for and what time are those usually? Say 10 to 12 p.m.
It doesn't really say here, so I would assume that we're taking artistic liberty, of course, based upon the flyer.
Oh,
get that information.
Yeah, I see that. Now let me scroll up I can't scroll up anymore. An after show party is slated for
immediately follows.
The show.
Yeah, let's just say immediately follows.
See our website for details.
Yeah, there you go. An after show party immediately follows.
So would you say an after show party with the cast or with the performers?
Yeah, how about with cast and guests?
Or come meet the cast and guests at the after show party?
I like that better. Yeah.
It's a call to action.
Yes.
There you go. Meet the cast and guest quartet at the after show party immediately following the presentation. I hate to say show again because it's too
be redundant.
Yeah. See our website for more details. All right, so far so good. Now, what about more details? Is this a good place to go ahead and stick in the boilerplate, which we'll just assume has already been written, and add it here?
Yeah, I would think there's not much more pertinent information with the 5 Ws to what we've already covered.
Okay. All right, the only thing we're missing, it's at the very top.
Is our headline.
The headline, okay? What do y'all think would be a good headline? You want me to, when I go to write a headline, I usually reread the whole story and try to pull out a couple things. Do you want me to read that to you, or you just want to go ahead and go for it?
Well, in the interest of time, what highlights of what you, because I mean, you just read it through it a moment ago, what is jumping out at you? I would think San Antonio Corpsmen present would be a good starter to the headline.
Present, and you can leave out things like articles and prepositions and that sort of thing, just to make it short, okay? But offhand, I'd say San Antonio Corpsmen present their 63rd annual show. And then as a subhead, I better write this down, I'll forget it. Okay. San Antonio Corpsmen present 63rd, or it's 63, right? Yeah. It would actually be 64, I guess, but anyway. San Antonio Corpsmen presents 63rd annual show. And the subhead would be I'm open to ideas.
Would you say featuring the internationally ranked quartet, the Newfangled Four, in the subhead?
Something like that. And
or
hopefully,
quartet.
What was that again?
Or famed quartet, something that.
Yeah, let's do that, because people. I was just thinking, how many people are going to know what internationally ranked means?
I think that's only going to credibility of them being well known.
And so we'll make them well known by calling them famed.
Sure.
The Newfangled Famed Quartet, the Newfangled Four. What are they doing?
It's an opinion, but I think I would leave the quartet name off of that subheader, just to keep it a little shorter and, you know, a little more attention getting.
Okay.
Because it's a tease in that case. You know, what's this internationally ranked quartet? What's this? What about it? They keep reading.
All right. So we have either the famed ... or internationally ranked quartet ... Let's fill in the dots for this subhead. And we'll go with Pete's suggestion of internationally ranked.
Taking artistic liberty here, but I'm wondering if, you know, if this is their first time in San Antonio, would we call that out? Making their first visit to South Texas.
Let's do it.
Wouldn't that be in the body?
It could be, but so putting it here, would that remember if the headline? Let me get my notes. The headline hooks them. The subhead is supposed to pull them in. So would that information pull them in?
I think, you know, making their first visit to South Texas is the type of thing that would make somebody want to keep reading.
Okay.
So I mean, the whole point of this, the whole point of the headline, correct me if I'm wrong, but the whole point of the headline is to get them to make sure that they keep reading, because people tend to scan headlines. And if it catches their eye, then they'll read the body.
Aren't the Newfangled Four a comedy quartet?
Yeah. Well, that's all I've seen them do is comedy.
Well, they sing extremely well, but I mean, a lot of people will buy tickets to see comedy that wouldn't buy tickets to go hear singing. It's weird, but it's true.
No, I understand what you're saying. You know.
I like that point too.
Oh, hey, well, since it's 10:55, I understand what you're saying, and that would be a good thing to add. But I'm going to go ahead and move on with what we have here. Okay. Okay. Now, if I can just figure out how to share this. How do you think I should do that, Scott?
Try minimizing Acrobat. If nothing else, you could stop the share and then pull up what you're showing and reshare. Maybe that's a better way to do it. I'm not sure why we're having issues with share this morning. You usually don't have this problem. You usually can switch between things visible on your screen, but try stopping the share. Click the share button in the center and the bottom and stop your share, and then pull up what you want to share and then relaunch.
Okay.
We'll see if that does it.
Resume share. Okay, that's what it's sharing. Let me just close that. Yep. All right, we'll close all tabs.
Hey, there we go. Now we see photo opportunity.
Okay, and now you don't even see me, do you?
I just see your face.
Share. And here we go. See that?
There we go.
Okay, here's our news release so far. Here's our headline. I'll give you all, if y'all can all see that, I'll give you 60 seconds to read through it. Ready, go.
Should we play the Jeopardy theme song in the background for the video?
I was thinking password. Okay, that's 15 seconds.
So at the, oh, nope, you've already got it there. Never mind.
30 seconds.
You call out the website address that you make mention to at the end, but it's already listed there. So on the paragraph before. So there's no reason to be redundant.
45 seconds. Time. Okay. How's this for a first pass at a news release about a show?
Good.
Yeah, I think so too. It could use a little more detail, but to just sit down and write it out, that's what you do. You go back and you polish it. Okay. Y'all might want to mute your microphone there. It sounds like somebody's climbing inside a trash can. Okay.
Rocky?
Yeah.
I have
Rocky, did you give guidelines on how long a good press release is? How many paragraphs or sentences?
3 to 5 paragraphs in the body, and then the lead and all that. So that was about the extent of it.
Okay.
So,
Rocky,
yeah, sure.
I have another general nuts and bolts question. I noticed the verbal tense changes from present and then to future, then to past. Is that important at all?
Yes, and it's a little bit sloppy right now, because of how we wrote it, but you want it to be in the third person.
Yeah, but as far as tense goes, should it all be in the present?
Yeah,
Or,
you want it either present or future,
okay.
because it's something that's coming up.
Okay, I like it. When it started out present, it sounded more immediate. Not sure I understand why that is. When we talk about the future, it sounds, even though it's more accurate, it sounds a little less exciting.
I understand, sure. Okay. The general rule is to make it third person present tense.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Since we're approaching the end of our time here, I was going to show you an example, but I'm afraid of the clunkiness of this system here. So I'll spend more time switching back and forth between stuff like that. But do you have any other questions at this point about the process?
So I may be jumping the gun here, Rocky, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Now that we're done, we've written it. What do we do with it?
Okay. Now that is the subject of a whole nother session. Okay. Because of course, now you've written it. What do you want to do with it? Well, you want to send it to a media outlet of some sort. Okay. I'm blessed by the fact that I have the email blasts that I can send out to everybody in the district, and also the website, and also on Facebook. Those things are pretty easy in your chapters. If you have an email list with all your patrons, you'd send it to them and put it on. If you have a Facebook page, put that on there. Of course, you put it on your website. But what if you wanted to go farther? What if you wanted to get it on TV, for example? Then you would send the news release to that particular TV station, and you can do that cold. They have their websites. You go to them, and they have a place where you can click and add information or news releases and that sort of thing. If you want it to go out farther than that, there are services that you can pay for that will take your news release, and they'll even help you write it or rewrite it or whatever. And for a fee, they will send it out to a designated bunch of media representatives, hopefully that are relevant to you. Okay, and all you got to do. Matter of fact, one thing I'm going to give you here's a couple of links, and this right here is a company called E-Releases, and I stumbled across them quite by accident, but they have some very extensive guidelines. I mean, down to the absolute nuts and bolts. I mean, Brian, if you want to know anything about tense and verbs and how to, grammar and all that stuff, these guys get into that. And that right there is a guide that you can download for free. Of course, they want your information so that they can try to sell you their service. Okay. But they also have this good how-to stuff here. And I stole a few things from them to help me flesh out this presentation. And this is just one of many places that would be happy to, if your chapter's marketing and PR has a little bit of a budget, this could be a couple of $100 for, I don't know, 10 news releases a year, something like that. It's kind of how they work. I don't happen to have this in my marketing and PR budget for the district yet, but that's something I'm going to be pushing toward, because I'm just one guy, and there are so many things happening with our 40+ chapters in this district that I could use some help getting the word out. So there you are. Do you have any other questions at this point?
No, good job.
All right. I'm available mainly by email, and you can write this down if you'd like. It's dir-mpr@swd.org. That's dir-mpr@swd.org. Okay, Brian, you just real quick, Brian, your the release that you sent me,
yes,
was just a little short. That's all.
Okay.
And I wish we had time to go through it right here, but I know it's Saturday morning and you guys probably have things to do. But,
well, what you showed me in the last hour would have changed that release a lot. So,
okay, good. So feel free to contact me, and I'll see what I can do to help. I'd hope to show you some examples to let you know that I do know a thing or two. I don't know everything, but I've had a little bit of experience at this. So just to improve my legitimacy here. But at any rate, that's all I have to say at this point. Thanks, guys, for joining us. I really appreciate that.
And gentlemen, once again, this will be posted to the Southwestern District Leadership Training YouTube channel, and I will send out a link to that once it gets posted within the next couple hours. Sorry, I stepped on someone. Did I hear another question there?
No, I was just thanking you guys.
Well, gentlemen, we appreciate y'all joining us this morning. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to either respond to my email and I can get it to Rocky, or you can email Rocky again at dir-mpr@swd.org. Thanks again for joining us, everyone, and look for the video on YouTube. Have a great day.